Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Man, I am so bummed because I messed up. I messed up actually big time and had to start this recording over. It's been a long day. Got up at 5 o'clock this morning, did my morning video, hit the road, and came back home. Did a lot of work, as a matter of fact. Ended up putting in a toilet, fixing the smoke detector, taking care of some broken lights, hanging kitchen cabinets, varnishing steps, and then drove my happy ass back home. And of course, I have to bring you the latest news on the Dallas Cowboys. And there's a lot of news on the Dallas Cowboys. And it's Taco Tuesday, and unfortunately, I ain't had no tacos. I ain't had no tacos on the last 2 Tuesdays, and that is a travesty. But I'm happy to be home, and I'm happy to be hearing this great music mixed by Ron Oliver. Ron, actually, I need you to do me some new mixes so we can freshen it up, because I know some people are like, okay, we've heard that one before. Anyway, when I started out doing my recording, I had opened up a package right here from Letitia. Letitia was so nice. How nice was Letitia? Letitia told me she was going to make me something. And I tell you what, I love things that are handmade. You know, that's what I do. You look at this desk right here, I built this desk. You look at the benches out there, that's made out of 2x4s, and 2x4s these days are like gold. The fire pit, these hands. So I can appreciate craftsmanship because we like to be crafty. You know what I'm saying? We definitely like to be crafty. And Letitia made me not 1, but 2 mugs. Now check this out. It's glittery. I don't know if you can see the logo on here, but that is our rally logo. The ones that I have on the shirts that are on my Teespring site. The Jobu Sports Rally, and then on the other side, it's got the Cowboy star, and it's fueled by haters. So we have the glittery one, and then we have the solid colored one, and I think this is perfect. This is literally perfect. I love these. Letitia, thank you so much. I appreciate that. They're going to be put to good use. Okay, so I get back home. I've been trolled by Eagle fans like crazy, mercilessly, all day long. And that's cool. That's cool. And so I got back, and I'm checking out the news and stuff because, you know, it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's Taco Tuesday. Unfortunately, I ain't had no tacos. It's Taco Tuesday again, and I ain't had tacos because I drove down the road, did all that work and stuff, came back. This ain't that time to make any tacos. So I'm here taco-less on a Taco Tuesday, so I'm taco hangry, okay? I'm taco hangry right now, so be cool. But anyway, I'm sitting here looking at Bleacher Report, and there's an article about Zeke Elliott, and it starts out and it says, can Cowboys survive without Zeke Elliott? And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? What do you mean, can they survive without Zeke Elliott? Because people have gone on this saying that, oh my God, Zeke Elliott is done. Did you see what happened with him on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Man, they paid him all that money. He only got 33 yards. Dude, it's sad, man. Is he ready for the retirement home? Well, here's the thing. If you go by the numbers, and you guys know I am a numbers guy. You know, I love my statistics. If you go by the numbers, one thing you don't want to have happen is the 2,000-yard mark. With almost very few exceptions, when a running back hits 2,000 yards, they literally go off a cliff. They do. And this is where you look at Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry had that 2,000 yards. It looks like my hand's on fire, doesn't it? Fire hand. Fire. Okay, anyway. He had the 2,000-plus yards last year. We'll see if this theory holds true. And he comes back down there. I don't expect him to like go to 800 yards or something, but watch, it'll be like 1,500. He'll step back down. It's just a natural thing. And usually the 4th year is the peak. At that point, most running backs, except for Barry Sanders and Adrian Peterson, start to go downhill. You think about Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's not anything like he was a couple of years ago. You think about Todd Gurley. Now, Todd Gurley had actually arthritis in the knees and literally is a shell of what he once was. But Zeke has never had any of those major injuries. Zeke has always taken care of his body. I'm not so worried about Zeke Elliott as I would be those other guys. But let's go back to that game against Tampa Bay where the Cowboys got 33 yards out of Zeke Elliott, which sounds terrible. And that's why, of course, the speculation, everybody looks for something to write about. You want to have that headline, and that really grabbed my attention when it said, can the Cowboys live without Zeke? No. Just thinking about the blocking alone on Sunday, that game wouldn't have been close if it wasn't for Zeke Elliott. I'm going to go ahead and give Zeke Elliott a hell of a lot of credit because he kept Dak Prescott upright and kept him, unmolested long enough to get those passes delivered. Without that blocking, if you had put somebody who could not block out there, we've been destroyed. Dak might not be playing this week. Dak was able no ill effects because of Zeke Elliott. Now let's get back to the running. If you want to say that Zeke Elliott is done, okay. Well, a couple of things. Because they'll say, well, his numbers have been going downhill since 2016. Well, you know what else has been going downhill since 2016? The Dallas Cowboys offense of line. 2016 was like the peak. That's when you had Tyron Smith, who just missed his first 3 games. That's when you had Travis Frederick pre-Hillian-Barr syndrome. That's when you had Zach Martin, who was still a young pup. That's when you had that offensive line together, cohesively, together, bowling people over. But after that year, it started going downhill. You'll remember Tyron Smith went out and we had the infamous Chaz Green game where Claiborne literally got a fat contract because of one game. (2018) still wasn't that much better. Zach Martin ended up hurting his knee in training camp and literally was on one leg most of the season. Missed time. Where Connor Williams, who was a rookie, was really bad the first half of the season, got injured, actually came back, played well for Zach Martin, replacing him. Wasn't a great offensive line there either. Last year, dudes, we stunk the joint up. We didn't have Lyle Collins all last year. We didn't have Tyron Smith. We had Tyler Badish, who was a rookie, coming in there. We had Terrence Steele, who was an undrafted free agent. To try and compare Zeke Elliott running last year behind that line versus 2016, you can't. It's not apples to oranges. You have to handicap that because I don't care who you put behind that offensive line. It wasn't going to do anything. But here's where it gets interesting because when Mike McCarthy got the job with the Dallas Cowboys, we heard about analytics. I put together this garage and I've made a whole analytics crew. We study everything. We know the tendencies of things, and we didn't see that last year. But maybe, just maybe, Mike McCarthy is beginning to use those analytics now. Because here's what happens. Now let's go to Zeke here. Zeke Elliott, 33 yards on 10 carries. That's 3 yards a carry. It's not real good. But listen to me. If you say Zeke's washed up, then you need to say Alvin Kamara is way washed up and should be kicked out of the league. Alvin Kamara against that same defense ran the ball 12 times, 16 yards. That's 1.3 yards a carry. Josh Jacobs, is he done? He ran the ball 10 times for 17 yards. That's 1.7 yards. Aaron Jones, 10 carries, 17 yards. That's a yard and a half. And then David Montgomery, he did pretty good. 10 carries, 29 yards. That's 2.9. And Zeke, 10 carries, 33 yards. 3 yards a carry. Nobody is making money running the football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's be clear on that. So I tell you what, let's do an experiment here right now. Why don't you, let me explain to you analytics. Let me explain to you analytics in a nutshell. Something some of you hardhead Neanderthals will understand. What I want you to do is go run into a brick wall right now, head first. Okay? When you're no longer dizzy, run into it again, head first. After you wipe the blood off your forehead, run into it again. Did you learn something about that? Did you understand that running into that brick wall head first, the wall probably isn't going to come down? So that means you have to try something different. Maybe you go over the ladder. Go over the wall with the ladder. Maybe you go around the wall. Hell, maybe you try and dig under the wall and come out the other side. But you know that running into the brick wall is not going to work. That's what analytics were. Analytics said, Alvin Kamara's getting 1.3 yards. Let's not waste our time with that. So what they did was they attacked using the pass. They used the pass like a running game in the screens, the short passes in the flat. Getting the guys the ball in space away from that big, heavy, mean, nasty offensive line. That Vita Vea. You know, Vita Vea is literally eating running backs like sandwiches. Namakitsu, he's stepping on them. And pulling arms off. So you actually should be happy that they didn't just blindly try and run him through there, because literally every team has been running into a brick wall expecting something to happen to that brick wall, but that brick wall's not coming down. Now, analytics on the other side of the field. Last year, the first game of the season, with Mike Nolan as the defensive coordinator, 71% of the time, the Dallas Cowboys were in nickel coverage. Now, nickel coverage is 5 defensive backs, 3 cornerbacks, 2 safeties. And what's clear is they're looking at matching up, okay? They're looking to match up, okay? That's what we were told. We got a hybrid defense. Enter Dan Quinn. The Dallas Cowboys, what do you think? How many times do you think they were in nickel package? Go ahead, guess it. There were 64 plays for the defense. 64. 62 of them, they were in nickel. 5 defensive backs. Now, I know what you're thinking. Shit, we may need a 7 or 8 with Anthony Brown out there, and maybe we could have. But again, analytics said Tampa Bay can run the ball, but they're not that good at running the ball. In fact, we were actually really good at stopping the run. Surprisingly, in being in nickel as much as we were. But they were trying to cover those receivers. Diggs did great on Evans. He's shut down. He is literally a shutdown corner. Anthony Brown, not so much. And this is where the help comes in. Dan Quinn says, look, Anthony Brown's going to start because right now, sadly, he's the best option. But we have to help him out. We're going to have to roll the coverage to him, help him double team. And you can do that on lesser squads because they don't have all the weapons that Tampa Bay has, and they don't have Tom Brady, who somehow, some way is releasing the ball quicker now than even a couple years ago. I'm telling you, he sold his soul to the devil. It's the only thing that makes sense. So, Anthony Brown will be starting. On the other side of the ball, we have Terrence Steele. Miss Jackie, take a deep breath, Miss Jackie. Take a deep breath. Because, again, the Cowboys realize we need help. And that's what they're going to do with this situation. Unlike when we had Chaz Green going against Claiborne, where it was one-on-one battle, and they, even after a couple of sacks, they didn't use the running back to help chip him a little bit. They didn't use the tight end. They just let him say, it's on you, bro. It's on you, bro. Sink or swim, it's only you. Well, the Cowboys realize that Terrence Steele may need some help against Joey Bosa and look to see the tight end staying in, or look to see Zeke Elliott staying in the backfield to help out, to help give that forearm shiver in there, and to help keep Dak Prescott upright. And this is where, of course, the help comes in. And this is also, too, back to the nickel package. The Cowboys, I don't expect them to be a nickel all the time, but they recognize that Tom Brady and his tendencies are he's going to be throwing the hell out of the rock, and we need to have as many bodies out there as possible in the secondary. Other games, you may see very little nickel. You're going to see more of a run-heavy package, and you'll see all of your big-bodied wide guys that are there to stop the run. Okay, so moving right along here with a couple other things that are going on. Right now, the good news on Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory apparently still has no symptoms, so tomorrow he should be taking his first COVID test, and if that COVID test comes back clear, he'll take another one on Thursday. If he passes that, he will be back on with the team. Yay! I love that, okay? I'm hoping that happens because we definitely need as many pass rushes as possible because the Chargers offense, I don't know if the Chargers offense were that good or if the Washington defense was that overrated. I'm hoping that it was the Washington defense was that overrated because he looked good. He looked good, as Rashid would say. And the next thing I actually want to go through before I get ready to get out of here is I actually want to go through polls. The polls don't necessarily mean a whole lot, okay? I think back to 2017. 2017, when they said the Giants coming off of a playoff berth, even though they lost the first game in the Cleveland Browns, but they brought in Brandon Marshall. Chris Sims literally said that the Giants were a Super Bowl favorite going out there, that this team was ready to go, that with the wide receivers that they had, they were great, and they did such good things in the division. They beat the Cowboys twice. It was the last time Dak Prescott lost a game to the Giants. Just saying. They were a Super Bowl favorite. But that year, they literally fell flat on their face. And they're not the exception. They're more of the rule. Half of the teams that ended up being great last year end up being bad the next year. It just happens. But what the talking heads will do is they'll go through, and everybody who was a playoff team last year, automatically they're going to be in the top 10. Those are the teams that you're going to look at. But then all of a sudden you see them dropping off. So, let's go through it. This is backwards now. 32, we have the Jaguars. Wow. Did the Cowboys dodge a bullet by not getting Urban Meyer? I really and truly believe that the Cowboys dodged a major bullet by not getting him. Because could you imagine? I mean, he brought in Tim Tebow. I know that Skip Bayless thinks that Tim Tebow's a winner and was going to end up bringing the Jaguars a Super Bowl, but let's be real here. And from the Jaguars, this is where it gets interesting because if you'll remember, the Texans were actually at 32 last week, but they've moved on up. So at 31, this is where it's interesting. The Atlanta Falcons, the team that the Eagles beat, and that they are pumping their chest about how great they are. Okay. You may be great. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But we'll see. Atlanta Falcons, they're a mess. Matty Ice looks like he's melted. I'm just saying. He looks like he's melted. He's just a puddle now on the ground. Seriously. From there, the Detroit Lions. But interestingly enough, I don't recall if they bit anybody's kneecaps per Dan Campbell. You know, he was talking about we get knocked down and stuff, but, on the way up, we're going to be gnawing, kneecaps and things. He's a little off. He's old school. But they did make a run at the 49ers in garbage time. They got it close. So we don't know if that was actually, just garbage time or if Jared Goff actually might be pretty good. FYI, everybody in that division is 0-1. From there, the Jets aren't considered the worst team in the NFL. They're ranked 29th. Interesting. From the Jets, oh, wow. From the Jets to the New York Giants. Remember how some people were saying that the Giants could be the class of the NFC East? If Daniel Jones gets it together with all those receivers, yeah. From there, the Texans have been moving on up. They went from 32nd to 27 with their big win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Congratulations on that one. Hey, Eastside Herald, I'm happy for you, bro. I'm happy for you. But you still got a long ways to go. Carolina Panthers, B.A.M. They get a victory. Looking good. Okay, it was against the Jets. But still. The Minnesota Vikings loses to the Cincinnati Bengals. Ouch. I'm thinking that Kirk Cousins may be available for some of you teams next year. The Chicago Bears get jacked up, run over by a freight train by the Rams. Yeah. Andy Dalton. Yeah. Remember when they said there's no difference between Andy Dalton and Dak Prescott? Okay. The Raiders, surprisingly, only a 23rd after beating in overtime the Baltimore Ravens. A depleted Baltimore Ravens, but still, they won. The Eagles. What? Wait, hold up. Time out. The Eagles are only 22nd? The Eagles. You mean those guys that are trolling the hell out of me? That literally act like they're going to the Super Bowl? Oh, okay. The Bengals with the upset victory over the Vikings. And then we have Washington at 20. You know, that kind of shit, it pours down at FedEx Field at 20 after losing to the Chargers. Okay. Ryan Fitzpatrick, hip injury on injured reserve. Indianapolis Colts. 0-1. So if you're keeping track, the Eagles, the Giants, and Washington, 20 or worst. Okay. The Colts, I'm thinking the Colts fall back further. Carson Wentz is not the one. He's not. 18, Denver, after going up and biatch slapping the Giants. The Titans, after having their lunch money stolen from the Cardinals at 17. And here we have the Dallas Cowboys 4 spots ahead of the Washington football team. And they lost. How does that happen? Well, they're saying that was a quality loss against the best team in football. Okay. And from there we go New England, who's 0-1. San Francisco, who's 1-0, who takes on the Eagles. Eagles, we're going to learn something about you this weekend. The Green Bay Packers at 13. They were in the top 5. Miami Dolphins at 12. The Chargers at 11. That's who we face this weekend at 1-0. The Saints 1-0 with shameless Winston, not shameless anymore, at 1-0 at 10. The Ravens, I'm not sure the Ravens were that good, but okay, 9. They're falling quite a bit. The Squealers are in the top 10 at 8. Arizona Cardinals looking good, looking real good against the Titans at 7. The Rams looked great against the Bears at 6. Looks like Matthew Stafford is the real deal. Buffalo losing. Hey, at 6, I think they need to drop a little more, myself personally. Cleveland Browns losing at 4. I know it was close. And it was a come from behind for Kansas City, but that's what they do. Seattle at 3, Kansas City at 2, and Tampa Bay right now is your number 1 team. And that's where we stand with the standings right now. And, that's where we stand with the standings. Kind of surprised that they have the Cowboys at 16, but that's about where they belong. I think we're going to find out a lot this weekend. We're going to probably see Washington, I think, will overpower the Giants. I think the Giants are just a bad team, contrary to what people believe. The Eagles against the 49ers, we'll learn a lot more about the Eagles. If the Eagles can go through this gauntlet that they have to go through over the course of the next 5 weeks and remains up on top, I'll give them their credit, because they've got the 49ers this week, then they have the Cowboys, then they have, I want to say Tampa Bay, Carolina, and then I think Kansas City. Yeah, show me something, Eagles. If you do, I'll give you credit. With that being said, I have been on here way, way too long, but it's been a long ride. But you know how I roll.